Hello and welcome to Standard Global News, but first the headlines. Atiku reacts on defection to APC. 1.35 billion naira fraud allegations, Supreme Court to resolve EFCC Lamido's dispute. And in the international scene, flood kills 19 in South Africa. While on sport updates, Super Falcons drawn in women's AFCON Group C. Stand by for details. I am Amina Ahmad. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has said that his son, Abba Atiku Abubakar's decision to leave the People's Democratic Party (PDP) for the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC). In a statement posted on his X handle, Atiku said that in a democratic system, such political decisions are not unusual, even when politics intercede with family relationships. Abba Atiku announced his defection from the PDP to the APC on Thursday during a visit to the office of the Deputy President of the Senate, Senator Barrow Jibril. In his remarks, Abba said his decision to switch parties was driven by his admiration for Senator Barrow's leadership style and commitment. Abba Atiku also stated that he will work closely with Senator Barrow to support the re-election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027. The Bauchi State Police Command has arrested two young men over allegations of sexually abusing minors through forced acts in Tilden Fulani, Toro local government area of the state. According to a statement released by the police, the complainants alleged that a 16-year-old suspect, identified as Muhammad Saifullah, lured his 8-year-old son, whose identity is being withheld, and forced him into the act. The Commissioner of Police in Bauchi State, CP Sani Omolori Aliyu, condemned the incident and warned that the command will not tolerate any form of abuse against children. He also advised parents and guardians to remain vigilant and closely monitor the activities and movement of their children in order to prevent such incidents in the future. Today, Friday, January 16, 2026, the Supreme Court is expected to deliver judgment in the long-ruling case involving allegations of diversion of 1.35 billion naira against former Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido and his two sons, Mustafa Lamido and Aminu Lamido. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) disclosed this in a statement posted on its social media platforms on Thursday, saying the Supreme Court has fixed the date to rule on the judgment delivered by the Court of Appeal on July 25, 2023, which discharged and acquitted Lamido of the charges. Dissatisfied with the Court of Appeal's decision, the FCC filed an appeal on July 31, 2023, seeking to overturn the judgment and have the case returned to the trial court for continuation and final determination. The Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal has completed the construction of modern and major building projects in just 37 days. Fatima Ibrahim Dosara has more details on the reports.
Malam Musa Bello Jabaka, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, stated this while receiving the fully completed project on behalf of the ministry, describing it as a work done. Receiving the completed project from the ministry, the chairman, Zamfara State Council of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, Comrade Ibrahim Musa Mizari, lauded Governor Dauda Lawal for providing a modern edifice for the practicing journalists in the state, assuring that the building would be used judiciously and protected maximally according to the ethics and practice of NUJ.
As you know, we are in the modern era, that is a digital stage. Today, as you can see, modern facilities in terms of computers and network will be provided to the Secretariat. This will give a room and avenue to all the working journalists to come to the Secretariat and do their jobs effectively.
Speaking further, Maizari lauded the effort of his predecessors, which has yielded greater success in his tenure, describing the building project as a great milestone in the history of NUJ in Zamfara State. That's the report. Fatima Ibrahim reporting for SVTV News.
Residents and fishermen in Ogoniland River State are protesting what they describe as continued contamination of seafood in local rivers despite ongoing oil spill cleanup efforts. They say the pollution poses serious health risks and threatens livelihood as fishing remains the main source of income for many families. The fishermen report declining fish population and say available catches are unsafe for consumption. This has increased fears of health complications among residents. Community leaders say the slow pace of cleanup has deepened economic hardship. They accuse oil companies of failing to fully restore damaged waterways. Protesters are calling on the federal government, regulatory agencies, and oil firms to intensify remediation efforts and ensure the rivers are safe before livelihoods are permanently lost. A medical doctor kidnapped earlier this month in Edo State has regained his freedom after spending approximately 2 weeks in captivity. Family sources confirmed that both the doctor and his brother were released unharmed. The incident has renewed calls for enhanced security along highways in the state. Residents remain concerned about the frequency of kidnappings despite repeated assurance from security agencies. Authorities say investigations are ongoing to identify and apprehend the perpetrators. Security experts advise increased vigilance by both residents and travelers. The release has brought relief to the affected families and the wider community, but questions remain about long-term safety measures in the area. Meanwhile, a fire outbreak has gutted dozens of temporary shelters at an internally displaced persons camp in Yobe State. Emergency officials report that at least 76 shelters were affected, leaving several families displaced once again. One person was injured and has been taken to the hospital for treatment. Relief agencies are assessing the damage and mobilizing support for the affected families. Authorities say efforts ongoing to prevent further incidents and provide temporary accommodation for those affected. Residents and aid workers are calling for improved safety measures at the camp. The fire has highlighted the vulnerability of IDPs in the state, emphasizing the need for better protection and emergency preparedness in such camps. Farmers across the Southwest, in partnership with the Down Commission, are calling for expanded irrigation infrastructure to improve agricultural productivity. They say dependence on rainfall continues to affect crop yields, especially during prolonged dry periods. The farmers argued that modern irrigation system will enhance food security and reduce the impact of climate-related disruptions on farming. Regional stakeholders note that better irrigation will allow year-round farming and help prevent seasonal food shortages. They are urging government authorities to prioritize investment in sustainable agricultural infrastructure. Farmers remain hopeful that improved irrigation facilities will strengthen local government economics and support rural livelihood across the region. Moving to international scene, at least 19 people have died in recent flood in South Africa. Flooding caused by heavy rains in the Limpopo and Mpumalanga provinces forced the Kruger National Park authorities to suspend visits on Thursday, with visitors and staff evacuated by helicopter. The South African Meteorological Department has predicted heavy rains in the region over the next 2 days, warning that communities should be prepared for the worst. President Cyril Ramaphosa visited the area to assess the damage caused by the floods. And lastly, on sport updates, Nigeria's women's national team, the Super Falcons, have been drawn into Group C of the Women's African Cup of Nations alongside Egypt, Zambia, and Malawi. The tournament will also serve as a qualifier for the 2027 Women's World Cup. Coaches have emphasized team unity and thorough preparations as the squad aims to defend Nigeria's strong legacy in African women's football. Officials say training and tactical plans will intensify in the coming weeks to ensure the team is competitive. They remain confident that the Super Falcons can perform strongly and maintain their reputation as continental champions. Fans and stakeholders are eagerly awaiting the tournament kick-off, hoping for another successful campaign for Nigeria's leading women's football team. With that sport update, we end the standard global news. But before we go, another recap of the major stories. Atiku reacts sons defection to APC. 1.35 billion naira fraud allegation, Supreme Court to resolve EFCC Lamido's dispute. And in the international scene, flood kills 19 in South Africa. While on sport updates, Super Falcons drawn in Women's AFCON Group C. That was the standard global news. On behalf of the production crew, I am Amina Ahmad saying, do have a nice day.